Welcome to my series of videos called Seeing How We See. In this first video, we will begin to look at seeing and what seeing actually means. Then we will finish with a brief look at the structure of the eye. Our eyeballs serve as cameras that capture images of objects in the environment, like the two pups in this drawing. These images are converted to nerve impulses in our eyeballs, which are processed in our brain so that we experience the phenomenon of seeing the two pups and visualize their activities as they move about and interact with the environment. There is no actual image of the pups that reaches our brain. The process of seeing them is a result of some very complicated brain activity that caused the nerve impulses to seem like the pups are actually residing inside our brain. As this picture suggests, if a person states that they think they saw something, they are much closer to the truth than they realize, since vision and seeing is basically a process of thinking about the nerve impulses that represent the images in the environment. What does seeing actually mean? If two puppies are sitting in front of you, light from the sun bounces off of the puppies in all directions. Some of this light enters the pupils of both eyes. As the light from the puppies enters the eyes, it is focused on the retina. The retina is located at the back of each eyeball. The retina is covered with over 120 million photoreceptor cells that are called rods and cones. These cells each generate nerve impulses depending on brightness and color of the light rays that fall on each specific cell. The density of the rods and cones in the retina is the basis for the term retina display, which Apple coined to mean a display device that has a pixel density so high, around 300 or more pixels per inch, that a person is unable to discern the individual pixels forming an image at normal viewing distances. The light rays falling on the rods and cones of the two retinas generate a pattern of nerve impulses, which I will call the image data, since it contains all of the data needed to recreate an image of the puppies. The image data created by the retinas is passed along the optic nerves to the brain. The brain processes the image data passed on from the retinas and creates a virtual image of the puppies in our consciousness, creating the awareness of the environment that we call vision or seeing. Our eyeballs are located in bony cavities in our skull. This provides protection from injury and exposure to harmful materials on each side of the eyeball except for the front. To protect the front of the eyes from unwanted material, insects, and from injury, eyelids are provided that are formed from muscular tissue and fibrous plates that are located in front of the eyeballs. The eyelids close to shut out the light during sleeping or when bright light enters our environment. A blink reflex causes the eyelids to automatically close if a foreign object like an insect approaches the eyes. Eyelashes are provided along the edges of eyelids to protect the eyes from debris. Because of their sensitivity to touch, they also provide a warning when an intruder like an insect approaches the eye and causes the eyelids to close for protection. Eyebrows are provided above the eye to prevent sweat, water, and other debris from dripping into the eyeballs. They are also used in facial expressions to express surprise and anger. And look how provocative this pretty girl looks with those eyebrows and eyelashes. The sclera is the white part of the eye. It is a thick, fibrous tissue that contains or supports all of the other structures in the eye. The retina contains specialized cells called rods and cones that convert light falling on the retina to nerve impulses that are passed to the brain and interpreted as the visual image we see as an internal map of our environment. The choroid lies between the sclera and the retina. It contains a rich blood supply that provides nutrients to the inner parts of the eye. It has a dark brown pigment that reduces reflections of the incoming light as it passes through the retina. The cornea is a transparent, dome-shaped area continued from the sclera. Because of its abundance of nerve cells, the cornea is one of the most sensitive tissues in the body, and injury to the cornea can be excruciatingly painful. Light rays from the environment pass through the cornea, which accounts for around 2/3 of the focusing of the incoming light on the surface of the retina. This focusing is fixed and cannot be changed. After the image from the environment passes through the cornea, it is bent toward a focus point on the retina. Then it passes through a lens that has adjustable focusing so that it can be modified to maintain good focusing as the view of the environment is changed between close and distant objects. Each of our two eyeballs and their internal retinas have a separate image focused on them. Because of the separation of the two eyes, each eye sees the environment in a slightly different perspective. Since this difference is greater for close objects than more distant objects, and the eye's automatic focusing mechanism adjusts focus for varying distances, the brain interprets different perspectives and focusing requirements as indicators of relative distances of objects. This allows us to see the environment in 3D. With only one eye, focusing, size of objects, color, and brightness serve as partial clues to distance, but without the advantage of differences in perspective with two eyes, depth perception is severely limited. Watch for my next video on the miracle of vision. It will cover the operation of the eye and the brain in more detail.